Hey folks, man, this is Monk, and we are back with another episode of Classic Cinematics. And I'm joined as always my co-host. We got Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah, folks, man. And today we got a special film, man. This is coming out of the zombie horror genre, man. And today we're going to be talking about Zombie, aka Zombie 2 by Lucio Fulci. And it's interesting that it has those two titles because this film was originally envisioned as a sequel to Dawn of the Dead. So they named it that way to kind of ride the wave because when Dawn of the Dead was released in Europe, the title of that film was Zombie. Mm-hmm. So they were trying to lure potential viewers into thinking that this was a proper sequel to that film by naming it Zombie 2. It's directed by Lucio Fulci, written by Elisa Briganti, starring Tisa Farrow, Ian McCulloch, Richard Johnson, Al Cliver, Alreda Gay, Stefania Diamario.
I'm so glad you got to read the names, bro.
And Olga Carlatos, man. And the plot of this is a New York reporter follows a woman to an island where a doctor faces an epidemic of the undead. You know, so that's pretty much how the story starts. Like
short and sweet.
Yeah, but what's interesting, you know, I like how this film starts. Like just story wise, you know, we get this ship that washes up. Actually, we see a person get executed. You know, and the doctor says, you know, send the boat back to New York. Mm-hmm. And we catch up immediately in New York in the harbor. I love these shots, man. You see the World Trade Center back there and all that. So even though it's an Italian production, they actually took some effort to come and shoot part of this in New York.
Now, you know, just on that note, the thing about this movie also it was written before Dawn of the Dead was released in Italy. And the New York shots were not added in. Those were added in after Dawn of the Dead released.
What?
And then so they did that also as an attempt to intensify the cash grab and then make it look loosely linked to Dawn of the Dead.
Oh, that's interesting, man.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Oh, so that's crazy, man.
Makes it all make sense. But you know what? Since we keep talking about this cash grab, I don't know much about Italian lira, but they spent 410 million lira. They pulled back 3 billion lira. So if you can turn millions to billions, you did it right. No matter.
Yeah, I got to look up the breakdown on that.
What currency it is. Million to billion, you won.
Yeah. But so basically that's it. We got our boat in the harbor and it washes up. Police are inspecting it because it looks like an abandoned boat. They show up and they get attacked by a zombie, which I think is great, man. Like one of the things about this film, it's low budget, it's a knockoff, but it does have its own personality. Yes. And I think that shows with the special effects and all that.
Well, one thing I like about the story too, as well, is it's short, it's condensed, it's simple. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? We get an hour and 30 minutes. It plays fast, it watches fast. It's violent, it's gory, it's brutal, but we get these zombies. These zombies are the stars of the show. Yeah. I mean, they have a very unique and different look from what we got to zombies, the Romero zombies, you know, in Night of the Living Dead and Dawn of the Dead, even though this one's supposed to be intertwined with them. And I like the way that they introduce them. They bring them in almost like as solo projects in the first part of the film. Like the first guy we get, this big bloated guy on the boat, and he looks kind of like a product of his environment. You know, he's been, you know, away at sea. Who knows? I mean, maybe he was an oversized zombie because he ate all the crew members. You know what I'm saying?
So. I don't think
Who knows, right?
He died like that, dude. He died like that. Yeah.
But then also it's like when we go into the later parts of the film, we have the zombie that comes out of the dirt, the one that is on the case. This guy, I mean, he looks like he's been in the dirt for a while. Got maggots coming out the eye. And that's another thing, too. I really like in the older films how they equate, like, bugs to death. You know what I'm saying? And, I mean, we talked about this.
I think it was a cheap way to add, like, ickiness to it because a lot of people don't mess with bugs. They
don't.
Like, and I always mention this when we're talking about films that, especially horror this time. This was the sprinkle some worms on it era with makeup effects, where that's the number one way to make stuff look so icky. Like we were watching a scene earlier, and there's a part where the zombie's head is tilted back, and I was like, the only way he's tilted, reason his head is like that is so the worms don't fall out and hit the ground.
I mean, and then,
I was like, that was just so goofy.
We are watching the scene right now where the what are the ship cops called?
Coast Guard.
Coast Guards. Yeah. There you go. My man's on the boat, and why are there just centipedes on the piano? Mm-hmm. Like can they swim?
No, those are actually water centipede. Yeah. I don't know. Just because I know a lot about fish tanks,
just gross.
If you have a marine tank, that kind of worm, you don't want that in your tank. It'll attack your fish and kill them.
Well, since we're talking about tanks and water, also we get one of the most famous zombies in this film. We get the underwater zombie that he looks like he's been underwater for quite a while, and this zombie fights a damn shark. Yeah,
that is that is a cool
shark.
That is a cool aspect of it, man. Like that's something you're not going to see. Like it speaks like I said, this thing is working with a budget, but it's very inventive. Everything that's going on in and how it's putting together, man. Like even you mentioned a bloated zombie. That's like. I think that kind of got started with Dawn of the Dead, where we've got zombies that are known by the fans as this particular zombie. We got shark zombie, we've got a bloated zombie right here, and then we got our conquistador zombies. So we're getting zombies that have specials. They're not just regular run of the pack. They stand out.
They're individualized.
They're specialists.
And as we get later into the film, then we get the horde, and that's just all of them. And then that's kind of when they all just mesh together. But I really like how they individualized these zombies, and it really gave them more of a sense of fear and more of a lasting impression. And the one thing also that really worked for these zombies is the makeup and the special effects that went into these zombies. Like I said, with the shark, this was in '79. Okay, there was no animatronics. They were short budget. This was no CGI. This was a real tiger shark, dog.
Yeah, which is crazy. I wonder how you filmed this, because was that shark drugged or?
So I looked into this.
It looked like a juvenile.
I was ready to drop this, dog. I was waiting on this. So here's the thing. They did a lot of very strategic moves. One, they fed the shark, overfed him right before they shot the scene, and they doped him up.
And he did look a little lethargic.
He was swimming. He didn't know where he was going. But then the smartest move is the guy that actually played the water zombie. His name was Raymond Bravo. He was the shark's trainer. So
the handler, because I
don't think you can train a shark. It's not like a dolphin. I don't know.
No, you can handle them, but you can't train them for sure.
Yeah, to each his own. But it was a smart move. They had the handler trainer be the guy that did that scene, and
because there's that one moment that was really real where he sticks his arm into the mouth, which is probably a prosthetic, and I'm guessing just by instinct the shark bites down, and it's a really good looking effect. You know what I'm saying? Like that's crazy, right?
All right, and we have to do this just for the sake of controversy. Who do you think won the fight?
No one really. Shark got away. Zombie got away.
Shark took an arm. Zombie took a chunk.
Yeah. So I was call it even, because they both still out there. They was, you know what I'm saying?
I'd rather have a chunk missing than my arm. But
but if you're a zombie, you got a lot more problems to worry about than a missing arm.
That's true. But another thing. That's true. Yeah, you're right. And this motherfucker at the bottom of the ocean. How you gonna get out, bro? But, another thing that really stood out to me about these zombies, outside of the look and all these other things that we just discussed, is how they ate these zombies. They aimed to maim, dog. They were savages, dog. Like I like A1 on my steak. They were aiming for major arteries. Like they wanted blood on their meat. You know what I'm saying? They're coming for your jugular. They're going for main veins.
Yeah, I think they definitely wanted to have the biggest impact, like where the wounds were, just to give you that nastiness, because it was just like when the one woman got bit in the throat, and you could see pieces of her clavicle bones popping out. It's like, this is some good.
Dude, it had the warm pizza cheese pool going. Come on.
And they're studying anatomy really well. Whoever worked on these makeup effects, so that was cool.
You know who it was? Who did the makeup effects? The makeup effects was Giannato De Rossi and costume designer Walter Patricia. So they both did their thing as well with that. But you know, the other thing that stood out to me. Damn, I lost my thought. Oh shit, we're gonna have to edit that out. But nevertheless, that's what it was. These zombies were also, even though they were like dead and kind of moved like they were sleepwalking, some of them seemed to be a little wiser. They were smart, like
or they could spring with some sudden energy all of a sudden.
Well, the one that couldn't get to the girl that was behind the door, he had the wherewithal to stick his hand through the door and pull her face and her eyeball through a splinter to get to her.
Yeah, that's a crazy shot right there. That is wild to watch, because you're just sitting there watching and you seeing this big ass splinter from the door slowly getting to the eye. It actually hits the eye, and the camera doesn't cut away. And it goes,
and it looks so like almost real.
That was nasty.
But you know, saying all that to say this is what zombies are made of. I mean, these zombies. It's unforgettable imagery. It's gruesome deaths, and it's like being stuck in a situation where you are like fucked. You're screwed. You know what I'm saying?
I will say this though, man. I don't get there's some confusion with me, because this scientist, he's here doing experiments, and honestly it paints the picture like he's the cause of this outbreak.
I blame him.
But then it says later on, I've read some of the descriptions of the story saying that he was just trying to treat it, but it doesn't make sense, because clearly he's doing this experimentation, he's drawing blood, he's got the microscope and all this, and I think somehow he's unleashed this virus along, amongst the people, because it seems like they're getting sick and then they're reanimating, or they're seeming like they're dead, or they're dying and then they're standing back up. And he even knows this. He's trying to treat them, but he keeps seeing people pop up as helpers, come back. Yeah, we found another one. He's like, oh, tie him down with the others, and I'm like,
headshot.
Shouldn't you be killing them? Or maybe he's thinking he can treat it and cure it. But then there's another weirdness that comes into play later, where they kind of are starting to blame at least the conquistadors, because the people that are already affected that we see in the beginning of the film, they seem, like I said, they've gotten sick and then they reanimate, whatever. But then later on, once the people get there and shit hits the fan and is going crazy, then it seems like the voodoo curse is causing the ancient, the 100 years old corpses to come out of the ground. And I'm like, this is wild. So I'm confused about what was going on there. For me, at least I took it to be like, because you see the native people, they're all hunkered down.
Oh, the locals are fed up,
and they're chanting, and it seems like their chants have summoned these ones out of the ground, and maybe to go shut down the scientists and take out everybody, or just to reclaim the land. It's weird, man. It gets really weird, dude.
You know another thing that really works for me with this movie is this condensed group of characters. This isolated group. I mean, we only get about 5 people that we have to really care about, and because of that, it's a lot easier to follow. Like in other zombie films, sometimes it just you're worried about this pocket group over here, and then this person over here, and then is this guy gonna find his wife, and then are they gonna find the kid, and then all this other craziness. Man, we got 5 people. We got the woman that's looking for her, what's her, Ann Bowles, looking for her father, because the boat that washed up. Then you got what's my man's name? Peter West, and I like him too, because I don't know if you ever watch Kolchak, the Night Stalker. His TV show came out in, I want to say it was like 73, a little before this, but he was an investigative reporter, and he only investigated stuff like that was bizarre or supernatural, and he did it in the same way that this guy was doing it. So I think they kind of like took a couple pages out of that book, but they did it tastefully. But now he reminded me of Kolchak, man, and I like that. And then I really liked what we got from my man. I guess his name was Brian, and then Susan, which was the vacationing couple. Because just imagine you're out there with your significant other, and you're just vacationing, and then you just find some other, I guess Americans, if you're out in the native land, it's like, oh man, can you pull us a favor, and can we just ride your boat? We won't be a hassle, and just take us to some island that coincidentally nobody wants to go to. You know what I mean? We'll pull our own weight though. And then you got the doctor, and so it's really easy to follow this crew as the world crumbles around them. You know what I mean?
Quick 90 minutes, but yeah. Back to the voodoo. Like, I don't know, it does rub me a wrong, like a little bit, how voodoo is as once again like the movie trope of vilifying the voodoo and blaming this curse on that, because it doesn't seem, like I said, it gets a little muddy in this presentation. Like, I'm thinking it's the doctor's experimentation that helped this spread, or what. I don't like, I'm confused there. Like I said, man, I've seen this film hundreds, not 100 times, but a lot, and that always gets a little muddy to me because I can't tell. And then there's a scene where shit's hitting the fan and they're gonna go, their truck crashes and they get out and the woman complains like, oh my god, I can't take this, because the natives are chanting, they're doing their rituals. And it just seems like it's a little muddy. It's not very explained very well.
I'm with you. I'm with you 100%, because like voodoo. I mean, I don't know much about it. I mean,
well, you know what's crazy? The character gives an explanation of it. It's not this crazy thing. It's a blend of African culture and Catholicism. People think it's evil, but it's a real religion. They believe in Jesus and whatever else the Catholics believe in.
Just because it's a step away from the norm in the movies of this time, and even going into the 80s, voodoo was always villainized. We saw it in this. We saw it in Major League. We even saw it in the 90s for a brief second in the film The Devil's Advocate. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, it seems like it's low hanging fruit for these writers to try to just take something that is not, you know, something that might be practiced in every household in this particular area, and let's just take a pot shot at it, and that's whack.
And it also kind of destroys their notion that this is going to trying to be a sequel to Dawn of the Dead, because Dawn of the Dead, that whole zombie phenomenon was based on it wasn't voodoo. It was based on that satellite going down, and that they mentioned in coming down with radiation, that they mentioned in Night of the Living Dead. So that's kind of confusing, but once again though, I can see how that would help sell a film like this. I mean, this, for what it is, and as much as I like it, it is still an exploitation era film, and it's relying on those tropes and sensibilities to get people to come to the theaters to see it.
And I mean, we got to look at it like this. I mean, if Romero's, you know, Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead is Transformers, Zombie is GoBots. They're similar, but they're different.
Yeah.
And this is the B-rate. Okay? But love it though. I love it. I love it for what it is, and I love the energy that it brings. And I also love the set designs. It's a beautifully shot.
It's nice.
Film.
I love when shit hits the fan, how that island, all the dust is going on, and it's still broad daylight, but you got all this chaos happening, because I kind of hate this, man. I want to see stuff, man. It kind of blows me when movies
I do too.
Do hide everything in the dark. Like it's like, come on, man. Like switch it up. And I think that was dope to see this zombie carnage happening in broad daylight. Like, it reminded me of Resident Evil 5, man. When you running around in those early levels and just bow, like just blowing away zombies in broad daylight. It's dope.
And you know what really works for me too is, I mean, it's widespread. Like we get these glamorous shots of New York when this aimless boat is just pulling into Staten Island or just floating around. All those shots of the high rises, the buildings, the bridge, and all that stuff. That was dope. But I love when they're going, when they're like, they meet up with the vacationers and they're actually just floating across that blue water, like the whole shark scene. Even before, like the shark versus zombie, that's dope for what it is. But everything before that, when you're just like, you feel like you're just riding on the boat with them.
Yeah, like, I mean, feels like you're going on an adventure, like
blue skies,
exotic places.
It's like you're out at Cancun or something. Like it's like,
where did they film that? The island stuff? Do you know?
Honestly, I don't know. Somewhere beautiful that's not close by. But I mean, and then it's wild how, you know, they take this, even with like you said, with the island and all this stuff that's going on. I mean, they take all these beautiful areas and these beautiful elements and atmosphere, and then there's just all this death and chaos that's inside of it. It's just, I mean, it's like such a compare contrast, you know, of what one would expect. You know what I'm saying? It looks like you're on vacation to hell. You know what I mean? Who would buy tickets there?
So they actually filmed this in it was New York, got Latina, Italy, and Santo Domingo. So So that's
Santo
where the
Domingo
island stuff was shot.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. That's a beautiful place. I've heard one of my coworkers talks about there all the time. Rock and roll.
Yeah, that's what's up, man.
Yeah.
I mean, other than that, man, I think it's a fun zombie film, man. It definitely made the impact in the genre, man. It stands out. The gore effects, they're not Tom Savini level, but they're pretty damn good for what it is. But there are some visible goofs too, man. Like when we were talking earlier, the zombie that's on the cover, man. Like, it's weird that they kept that in there.
We're
But
gonna do this for you guys.
yeah, if you see the cover, you could tell like his shoulder is out. Like, this shot seems to be from a test of that mask, and you could see bare skin. But then later on, when he bites the woman, he has like a full conquistador ratty old shirt on,
And you only see it from the back.
And I'm like, why did y'all keep that? Nobody noticed that. Why didn't you zoom in closer, tighter, crop that out? But it's really weird. But then there are times where, I mean, the effects, they go back and forth. Because on the bridge, I love the bridge scene at the end when they get to zoom in on the zombies. But it's funny because some of them zoomed in, they don't look that good. Like the effects look like cheap wax. You know what I'm saying? But then there are moments like the bite scenes where you're
yes, you see the blood. Another thing I read, due to the budget restraints, you see how like New York's supposed to be shut down as the zombies are coming in. They go into the radio station. New York.
Oh, I love that.
Where's the woo when you need them, bro? Come on, save New York.
The Wu-Tang was not born yet, bro. It was 79.
But if you
back to 79,
if you
your ass in the moonshine.
If you notice though, like even though New York's supposed to be shut down due to budget restraints, they couldn't lock down the bridge. So underneath the zombies, there's still heavily flowing traffic. So when nobody's stunting off the dang on zombie apocalypse.
This really happened. It would be
they're
a
like,
mess, man.
whatever. It'd be gridlock.
Yeah.
But you know, another thing, I think outside of the zombies, my second most favorite part of this film, element of this film, is the score. The music, the score.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Oh, dude. What's his? I want to say it was Fabio Frizzi and Giorgio Tucci. They did that. The opening, from the opening score to the end. I mean, it's pulse pounding. It really. It keeps the adrenaline up. It intensifies the scenes just the way a score is supposed to.
Yeah, it's not a film where the score is always present, but when it does pop in, it's at good moments. You're just like, whoa,
dude.
Like,
without that score, I don't think this film hits that hard as it does. This score elevated this film to another level. I mean, this movie for me personally is a prime example of the power of music in film. You know what I mean? And it does that, like the music that starts playing when the zombies fighting the shark. I mean, it has this little tropical vibe, and I love how like all of the songs, they got like kind of like this like drum going on in the back as a homage to, you know, just the area that is taking place and all this stuff. I mean, it was beautifully done. And we were talking earlier, like I was talking about how much I like the damn opening score, and you said, I was like, man, ain't nobody ever used that in a sample or nothing. And someone did, yes?
Yeah.
So there we go. What was it called?
Oh, Circle of Tyrants, man.
There we
go. Listen to a song. It's called Carnivores on the Circle of Tyrants album by, I think it's Necro, Ill Bill, Gore-Tex, and Mr. Hyde on that song, man. And this definitely, you'll hear that score. Like, that beat from the score was looped, to make that beat.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, man, it's dope. It's a really good score, man. When those images hit you, because I think first time I watched it was way later in life. Just one of the ones I heard about, and I seen the covers. Let me order this, and then I finally ordered and I watched it, and that scene hit so hard, man. With the zombies walking into crossing the bridge, walking into the city, and that beat comes on, and you just like, yo, dude, this is crazy.
And I mean, like I said, the song
is good.
The song that's playing when the zombies fighting the shark, that's like something you'd hear in Street Fighter, dog. It's just like it's like this is just amazingly done, man. The great job on the score, and it was just well done.
It's definitely one, man. If you're a fan of zombie stuff, man, definitely check this out, man. It definitely deserves a place on your show. And if you've seen it before, watch it again, man. It's a good time, man. It's a good schlocky time. It's hard to eat during this, man. Though. That I wouldn't try that.
You know what? I'm glad you said that too, because I just forgot of something. When this film first came out, dog, the one thing that they gave moviegoers with their tickets?
What, a barf bag?
Barf bags.
Wow.
So go figure.
Wow.
Yes, and I'm with you 100%. I mean, I respectfully feel like this piece it's a masterpiece in the zombie genre. You know what I'm saying? It separated itself from the Romero films, justifiably so. And I feel like it does have the rewatchability. I mean, you can, after the shock value is done after the first time, you really can find just the enjoyment and the energy and the effort that it brings. But nothing is more enjoyable than watching this film with someone else who has not seen it before and watching their reaction for the first time. That's what I enjoy most about this film now, because I remember my first time watching it, and I flew solo with that adventure, and I was like, whoa, Ben. And now I get belly laughs every time, I watch it with someone. I never seen that. And we'll pop that thing in. Don't eat. We'll drink these beers. Don't eat though. Because, I mean, the special effects, they still hold up. I mean, it's anyone who is a zombie fan, horror fan, this is a must-watch film if you love that genre. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, buts about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we can wrap this up, man. I don't know what's going to be the next film, folks, but we're definitely going to be back, man. But definitely, check out Zombie. And you can catch me at Monkey Blood on Twitter and Instagram. You can check us out on Classic Cinematics, at Classic Cinematics on Instagram. And that's it. Check out the merch link below and help support us, man. You can get some cool Classics of Cinematic stuff there at that link.
Yeah. And this is Bobby Blockbuster. You can catch me at Bobby Blockbuster 118 on the gram.
Yeah.